Hello there, Defend Your Movie fans. This is Sean Donnelly speaking. Quick little message before we start the episode. I'm here with Farrah. Say hi, Farrah.
Hey.
We're actually just doing this to let you guys know about our new Patreon account. On patreon.com. And if you don't know what that is, Patreon, basically, if you sign up with us and you pledge a certain amount of money a month, you get extras from us, from the podcast.
You're going to get bonus episodes.
You get bonus episodes.
You're going to get, potentially, if you donate $5 or more, a Rickles t-shirt that's Sean's dog. You're going to get a shirt. You're going to get a call out on the podcast.
We'll say your name on the podcast.
Speaking of, shout out to Cheryl Boglarski, Russell Shepard, and Lee Kowarski. Seriously, we are so thankful and love you guys so much. So excited to share with you all the bonus extras we got cooking.
Yes, thank you guys so much. So they know how it works because they signed up. So you go to patreon.com, you look for the Defend Your Movie campaign, and you decide what you would like to give. I believe the amounts are $1, $5, and $10 a month. Or you can be a superstar. And on the end there, we have one where you go to see a movie with us for $500. A one-time payment of $500.
Very fair.
So if you're, you're big time, big buckaroo here, and you want to flaunt your cash, you can come with us to the movies, and we'll, you know what? We should make right here, right now. I'm going to make it that we'll record a bonus episode with you from the movie that we see.
What?
If you do the 500, which I don't know if that's going to happen or not. If you do the 500,
I mean, honestly, that's a bargain.
That is a bargain. That is a bargain at half the price. If you give us if you give us that money, you go see the movie with us. Then right afterwards, we'll come to Alex's studio. You'll meet Alex at Showbiz Studios, and we will record an episode with you.
If you're cool, you will be able to record.
Yeah, just don't be a dick. Just don't be a
fucking
psycho.
Dick. Don't be a fucking psycho. Okay.
So in summation, we have that Patreon account. Please sign up for our Patreon. Get yourself a subscription to our Patreon. And
oh my God, Sean!
What?
Let's get to the episode already.
Oh, all right.
With the Patreon.
I was wrapping it up.
Cool.
All right. Now, please enjoy our very big time episode with Ilana Glazer from Broad City.
Oh,
Is that the Broad City music?
Yeah.
Whatever. Enjoy, everybody.
In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. A champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut up and bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Defend Your Movie. I am your host, Sean Donnelly. I am here joined by my co-host, Farrah Brooke.
Hello.
Hi, Farrah. How are you? We have a very special guest this week. My pal, my buddy. She's hilarious. You know her from Broad City. Give it up for Ilana Glazer, everybody.
Hey, y'all.
Yay!
Hey, movie heads. Defend your movie heads.
The live audience is up in arms.
That's what we should call them.
this.
Defend Your Movie Heads. We don't have a fan. We have fans of the podcast, but we don't call them anything. Defend Your Movie Heads.
Little Defend Your movie heads.
Little Defend
The
Your Movie Heads.
Defenders.
The Defenders?
That rolls off the tongue. Little Defend Your movie heads. The Defenders is truly good.
It's too good.
That's actually good.
That works.
That's not ironic.
So how are you? How's everything going? How have you been?
I'm good.
How's life?
I'm good. I had just a heavy day today. Sort of like a dark energy day.
Yeah.
Oh, so did we.
So did we.
Yeah.
But yeah, why-
individually or as a unit?
Individually.
Yeah, just like some the older you get and you just start counting your tree rings. It's like such a trip getting older. It's crazy.
It is.
Life is such a fucking trip.
It is. Yeah. You get, I'm older than both of you, and I get to the point where I get nostalgic for weird things. Like when I went, this is going to sound so strange. I had to do gigs in New Jersey, and I went by where my grandmother's house was, there was a Burger King we used to go to in the summer when we visit her. They'd have like a 50s car show. And I was like, oh, this is on the way. I'm just going to go to this Burger King. And I went to the Burger King parking lot. The show wasn't going on. Like, that's been over, I think, for years and years. But I went and I got Burger King, and then I just sat in my car in the parking lot for like 20 minutes until I had to go to the show, and then I went to the show. And I was like really excited to do it. Like,
And
it was
that
like,
Burger King, you like felt your grandma?
I guess in a way, not actually physically, but I felt like I got, you know, I excited to be there because I thought back to that time, you know, like that kind of thing. So
food is such a factor too. Every time I go home, it's just a matter of within a day or two, I have to hit the spots.
Right.
The right pizza.
yeah. Oh no. I get the same deli every day. I've gotten the same deli, the German deli around the corner of my house, almost every day since I've been there. If I'm there in the afternoon, I go to that deli and get a sandwich.
Your grandma's still here?
No. Well, all my grandparents are gone. But I was like, it was in Jersey on the way. I was going to this place, Uncle Vinny's, which is in like Point Pleasant, and it's on the way there. So I just stopped off and just hung out, you know.
You totally Irish? 100% Irish?
100% Irish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Farrah?
Jew.
You're Jew. I thought you were a Jew.
She's like, I thought you were a
Jew.
Jew.
But Brooke, it's just one syllable, so I was like, maybe not.
Yeah,
Maybe
sometimes
she's
it's up
British.
for question, but
Yeah.
then they see my nose and
Yeah.
they know what's going on. Yeah.
Well, terrible segue. But we're gonna have to talk about. Let's talk about why we have you here today. Let's
It's
talk
not
about
the worst segue. I feel like
No.
it kind of relates to childhoods and stuff.
It does because
In
it's
a
a
way.
movie.
That's true.
It's a movie from my childhood. It's
Simpler
from
times.
all of our childhoods. You are technically going to defend Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery today.
Yeah, I'm ready to do that. I'm ready.
But
to do
here's the
that.
deal. We couldn't come up with another one really, but I actually like that movie a lot. The question is, does it hold up? I've seen it quasi recently.
You
and
have?
also I think it's more we should talk about Mike Myers, because the thing about Mike Myers is like I loved Mike Myers up until I guess the end of the Austin Powers. So I'm
What
married.
happened to him?
Did
he die?
He did The Love Guru and then he stopped.
He's
He's
like, I
retired?
think he's a depressive.
But you know what he's doing now? I think he's also like super not controlling. What do you call it when he's like not maniacal? What do they call it? Where like my sister had a party once, and I think he had to approve everything about the party. Like she ran an event and like
Perfectionist? Like?
what?
OCD?
Perfectionist?
Perfectionist, yeah, super perfectionist. But you know what he's doing now? They're doing the
looking
Gong
it up.
Show again. They're doing,
Yeah.
and he's the host, but
Wow.
he's dressed up as somebody else playing the host of the Gong Show.
Wow.
Like an
Says
Australian guy.
As of 10 hours ago in Vanity Fair, in perfect casting news, Mike Myers is joining Bohemian Rhapsody.
Wow.
He's joining Bohemian
As
Rhapsody.
whom?
Let's see.
Why? Because it was in Wayne's World? Because he
I
was
guess
like,
so.
think about Mike Myers. He was a superstar for like 10 years.
Says Mike Myers is in talks to land a role in the upcoming Freddie Mercury biopic Bohemian Rhapsody.
Biopic?
That Rami Malek is.
Biopic sounds like a test
I
for
thought
cancer.
it was biopic
Look,
too.
I say a
Biopic.
lot of words wrong. We've been through this on the podcast before.
I think it was biopic.
I don't know.
Biopic sounds
What
more
else could it
scientific
be?
than what you're talking about.
Biopic?
Biopic, but maybe it's
I
not.
always
Maybe
say
it's
biopic
biopic.
too. Maybe it's like a Jew thing. But I actually have to say I'm going to like reverse the defense because I'm not sure it doesn't hold up the same way it was when it was. It doesn't hold up the same.
Okay, it doesn't hold. Okay, so I'm going to defend Austin Powers too. Is that what you're
I
saying?
guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, like I love the movie and I love. It's just like a great script and great writing and a great character.
Yeah.
But it's it's a little.
Too campy now for.
I think it's too campy. It's also like too. Well, his like the sexism is like kind of. It's not really like sexist, but
I wouldn't
it
call it
is.
sexism.
It's not sexist. It's just like
I think it's no. Even in the movie, they call out
humor,
sexism.
maybe.
yeah, right. It like it's hard to tell how
He
how intentional. I don't know.
like the fembots and stuff. I think that's supposed to
Not
be
even.
more.
Not even.
That's supposed to be campy throwback to the '60s, and it's supposed to be like, look how overtly sexual this is.
Yeah, how were you gonna like how does it hold up? And you were gonna say no.
I was gonna say maybe no, but I think if I you know what it is. I think what I'm thinking in my head right now is that if I watched it right now, I would not. maybe because I've seen it so many times. I don't know what it is. But there's other things that I see over and over again. I laugh out loud. I.e. Seinfeld
You don't
episodes. Seinfeld, I can watch every. I laugh out loud at least twice.
Really? You like Seinfeld? I've never heard
I
you
make a
talk about
Seinfeld
this
reference
before.
every show. Seinfeld. I was watching Seinfeld last night, and I was in a really bad mood, and I was laughing so hard at Seinfeld. And this is 20 years later. I've seen every episode so many. It's so good. There's nothing better than that show. It's insane. So, but my point being, I can laugh at repeat things. Austin Powers, if I saw it now, even though I think it's still good, it's still technically a good movie, but the way that comedies are now, it's not like how it was back then.
Right,
So,
I'm not LOLing. You know what I mean?
I would,
No,
like
yeah.
I would like to watch it and test it because I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I don't know. In my heart, it does hold up, but I have not seen it. When I was a kid, it blew my mind. It was probably one of my first in the theater hard laughs. I remember so clearly I peed in my pants because I was laughing so hard. And it was kind of my first experience of comedy that's like off limits. And I was a kid seeing it and being like, oh my God, this is wild. Like, this is crazy. And I don't know. Maybe I need to keep it in that special place in my memory and not rewatch it.
It's like,
But
it was
I
so
also
pure.
recently had this thought where I was like, maybe it was like kind of for kids because it also like blew my mind as a kid.
yeah.
And
It was all the talk in school. I mean,
Well-
people would repeat the lines.
my dad
came out
loved
in
it,
97.
too. We
I
cracked
saw it
up
with my
about it.
dad. That was a huge part of it. I think I saw the first two on my own with friends or something, and then the third one came out in the theaters, and it was like the biggest deal for my dad to take me.
But I think what you can say is that comedy goes in cycles. And I think what happens is Austin Powers was a huge hit. They made 3 of them. And then they did that thing to death. Like, I can't think of any examples right off the top of my head, but I'm sure there was other movies that were trying to do what Austin
Was
Powers
Beyonce
did.
in the movie?
She was.
was in-
the second
No, she was
one.
in the third one.
That's
Was it the
so
second one or
funny.
the third one?
She wasn't. I forget.
She was in the Gold Member one, wasn't she? Oh, no, she was in the second one. You're right. She was in the
Yeah,
second
I don't
one.
remember which that was, but wow. Iconic.
Yeah, well, it became. Well, that's what I'm saying. It got so big. Then in the third one, they had like Tom Cruise is playing Austin Powers in the fake movie within the movie. Like, it just became a parody of itself. Like, it became like a like part of. It was huge. It was a huge phenomenon.
I'm trying to think, is this similar to like The Hangover in a way? I'm like, I don't know of huge comedies now that people lose their minds over, and there's like seconds and thirds and everyone knows every line, and like,
I mean, I thought Austin Powers. I guess I thought that they had overdid it within the franchise.
I remember feeling
They
that
did
way towards the
They
end.
definitely did. They by the third one, it was like
The third was cuckoo.
cuckoo. Yeah, the first one was really. Remember, it was like solidly funny, especially for when you're like at the time I was like 18, whatever it was, 17, and then it wasn't as funny.
The
Subsequent,
third one was the Dutch one.
yes, that was the Gold Member one. It wasn't gold. You know what it was? That's what it was. It was like this weird.
Damn.
I really would like to see
The first
it
one
currently,
is like
'cause it was
perfect.
such a big deal.
Yeah.
The first one is perfect, and like also it just feels like it feels like it's perfect to a comedy nerd because there's it's like such a balanced movie, and
Well, the first one was a straight up spoof of 60s spy, like how corny 60s spy movies could be. Like, like this James Coburn. I think it's based on this James Coburn character that I can't, like What's New Pussycat. Like, there's all these movies that came
Right.
out in the 60s.
Burt
that he was,
Bacharach and
yeah,
shit.
right. He was playing off of that, and that's what was so funny about it. But now it's just the way, like. It's also your comedy tastes change. You get old, like you get older, I guess. And if I watched it now, I don't think I would laugh out loud, but I would be more nostalgic than
Right,
laugh out
right,
loud.
right.
I would, certain parts you might, but you don't, like.
yeah, it definitely feels good. Like, it makes me feel like a kid, and also like the I have a little Fiat, and I always think of his like double part when he can't turn around in the hallway, like and he's like forward, back, forward, and he keeps
Yeah,
going into
yeah,
the wall.
yeah.
Like there are such good moments.
Yeah. That's what.
Can we
and that's
just
the
go
first
over
one.
exactly what happens in the first one a little? 'Cause
Sure.
I
Do you
just-
remember?
No, like not fully.
He
I
was
know there was such
cryogenically
iconic
frozen.
movies. Yes.
Cryogenically frozen, and then Dr. Evil
Yes, that was so huge to me as a kid. Oh, I couldn't imagine anything funnier in my life.
And Dr. Evil?
Yeah.
You know what Dr. Evil's based on?
No.
Lorne Michaels.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That was Michael Myers' impression of Lorne Michaels.
I love that you call him Michael. Like, you give him such, it's so respectful.
Michael Meyer?
Yeah.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Well, you know what Michael Myers is? That's Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm probably just doing it by mistake. I'm probably meaning to say
you're like
Mike
all
Myers.
Halloween. Yeah, Dr. Evil was Lorne Michaels. I think Lorne Michaels produced Austin Powers, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And the
I
whole
believe
franchise. And also, like...
So what it was I think Dr. Evil, they went into a time machine, right? And they went to 1998 or 1996 or whatever it was from the 60s. And they cryogenically froze Austin Powers to thaw him out in that time so he could go after Dr. Evil, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah. And then Dr. Evil has his underground lair where he's got it's both.
And also that pissing joke. He like has been frozen for so long. He pees for so
yeah,
long.
it's funny. Yeah,
That was funny.
Yeah, it's like it's supposed to be silly, but like then it got sillier and sillier.
Right.
Like it's funny. Like
and as a kid, I remember being like, this is so dirty.
Right.
This is so
I know.
sexual.
I remember feeling like horny and confused and ashamed at Elizabeth Hurley, you know? I was like, this is weird. Don't look at my like parents. This is really funny too. The British making fun of British people was hilarious.
Oh,
The teeth,
yes.
That was really funny.
and I don't think he was. I think it was a lot of stuff that wasn't being done before. I think it was also like it was all him. Like almost how Wayne's World was. Like no, not Wayne's World, but like I just think that he wrote it and he directed it, right? Or did he direct it? Maybe he didn't direct it.
Austin Powers, I don't think he directed it.
But like it was probably it seemed like the type of project that he was trying to put through for years and years. He was on SNL and then he finally got it made. Do you know what I mean? Like and then
You think he wanted it to be a sketch or something?
I'm sure it was probably a sketch at some point.
Jay
a sketch
Roach
idea.
directed it.
Jay Roach
That
directed.
makes
Okay.
sense.
Do you know what I mean? So it seems like a thing where like it's so Mike Myers, just like So I Married an Axe Murderer, because that's all. You ever watch that movie?
No.
You ever see it?
No.
Oh, it's so good.
Or like I saw it like 20 years ago, you know?
Yeah, he plays. It's just him, and he thinks he's married. He thinks he's getting married to it's him and Nancy Travis, and he thinks his girlfriend, then wife, is like an axe murderer. Like, and it turns out it's not. But whatever.
It's so exciting to have our first never seen it ally on the podcast.
I know. Like, I am not such a movies person. I'm trying to like get into it, but I'm more into TV. I can't like movies are hard.
I
You mean just,
agree,
like,
and I don't
sticking
know
around
what
for
it
them?
is about it, but I
Sticking
just
around
haven't
for them
seen.
and not like rolling my eyes in the middle. You know what I mean? Like it's hard for me to stay with it.
Really?
Really hard for me.
What other movies have you stayed with it for? Like, what's your favorite?
You know
one
what
of
I
your
saw recently? This is so like niche and underground, but Lemon. Have you been seeing?
Didn't see that.
Lemon?
It's like you know Brett Gelman.
Of course.
Yeah, so-
Oh, is that with his wife?
Yeah,
I saw
his
the
partner.
trailer. That looked
Dude,
batshit.
It's like kind of like an anti-movie that held my that I was like so in it for so many reasons, like the way it like covered culture, like Jewish and Black and LA culture, and it was like an anti-movie, so everything was like unexpected. That shit blew me away.
See,
I really
that's
liked
the kind of
Moonlight. Not
Yeah.
that that was an anti-movie, but when I think of the last movie where it fully held my attention the
Right.
whole time and I was riveted,
Totally.
Moonlight.
And it was kind of an anti-movie because it didn't go through the formula.
That's
and it
true.
was like, same, where I was like, I can't believe this. I think we're like so used to the formula. And especially as kids, like there were so many like perfect movies in the 90s, like Austin Powers. And I'm always thinking of like Mrs. Doubtfire, you know, the studio movies.
like
that-
perfect, like kids comedies, like slash
just
like
perfect,
family movies.
Structurally. And like the way that, you know, Save the Cat is like written out. It was like, those were all perfection. Wayne's World is pretty perfect.
Yeah, you mean it follows a formula.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're saying you like the movies that don't follow that formula. Like you would
Well,
like.
and I even like those movies and like appreciate them, but it's not. I like watch them more as homework than as like
You think it's predictable.
yeah, and you just like feel what's coming next, kind of.
I think I would lose me. You know what it is though, and I like Brett Gelman a lot. I think he's hilarious.
God, it was
But
crazy.
if a movie is too, the thing that annoys me is if a movie's too is weird for the sake of being weird. Like, all right, I don't know if are you a David Lynch fan? Do you guys like David Lynch? I liked Twin Peaks. That's the only thing I liked that he did.
Haven't seen it.
But I don't like many David Lynch movies. And one of the reasons is because there was an interview once with David Lynch where they're talking about Mulholland Drive, that movie that he did. And they go, what were you thinking during this scene when this was going on? And he starts to answer it. He goes, well, what I was thinking there was, I had in my mind, I had that. And then he stops and he goes, you know what? I don't know what I was thinking. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. If you're such an auteur and you're an artist, you should have a ready-made answer for anything. Like, please, you owe us. At least make something up. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It was so confusing or something?
Oh, it was so bad. It was like, I think it was like it was a lesbian kiss scene, and they were like, what did that serve for the rest of the movie? And that was the question. And he was like, well, what I was thinking was, it was like, no, you just did a salacious scene. Like, just either say that or come up with some weird fucking alien reason that you did it. Like, that's why I hate it. Like, if you make stuff, like when you're true to your art and you make stuff because you're like, I'm feeling this is why I'm feeling, you can back it up, then back it up. But if you're just making stuff weird for the sake of being weird, then fuck you. I think it's so stupid to me. It's like, oh, I can do that. You just make shit weird for being weird.
Yeah, like maybe he was, maybe it was just that.
I think it was just weird for being weird. But like, he's a guy who's based his whole career off like, no, there's something here.
Right,
you know?
right.
So that bugs me. But I like different movies as well. Like I like movies that break the formula, and I like movies that go along with it. And you know, like we were talking about, even when Jim Norton was on the podcast, we talk about like you love happy endings, but I also love to see if it's not so happy. The not happy ending movies, I always want to see just like once. And then I'm like, and I like that they changed it up, but I'm also like, but I don't want to be sad again.
Totally. It's
But
like I came here for.
Yeah, you're like, well done, appreciated, but will not watch again.
Yeah, but if you see too many of those formulaic movies in a row, yeah, it takes its toll, and you're like, why even bother? You know?
Yeah, it's just like, I saw what was another one? What was that? Oh my gosh, the white rap girl. Pancakes.
Yes, I knew it was something
That
with
was
a P.
uplifting
I want to
and
see that.
good. And
That
like,
trailer looked really good. That looked like weird.
not formulaic, but it definitely followed like the anti-heroes.
It was like an indie movie.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
It's
That looked like a weird movie that I could get. I think I'm going to check that one out.
another one I saw recently, Girls Trip. That was like a big
we
studio.
talked about it on the podcast.
I loved Girls Trip.
It was really good.
Funny.
It was great.
I went into it. Tiffany Haddish. Before we saw it, everybody was like, "Tiffany Haddish is the greatest thing in the world," and then I was like, "All right, we'll check it out." After leaving, I'm like, she is hands down the best thing in that movie. Like it's that wouldn't have been.
It was
half
really
as
funny though. There was a lot of genuine laughs, and I did enjoy the whole movie.
Yeah.
So
It was genuine laughs, and also they didn't just do your straight up like run of the mill jokes. There was a couple like things thrown, like curveballs thrown in there. Like I said, when she does like the pineapple thing with the guy and his
Holy
dick,
shit.
and instead of just him just coming in the room and going, my dick, like I think that would, a lot of movies just be like, oh my god, my dick's on fire, like whatever. Like he had as he's running by, he has these amazing lines. He's like, why would you do this? Why would you have, like, I'm like, at least that's fun. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's funny.
I mean, I loved that movie.
I have like now that I just like spit those out, I'm like, damn, I did see more movies recently than I.
You
I
saw
know
Doc?
now you're saying everything. I'm like, oh yeah, I saw that, like
Right.
that. Oh, I like that too. But I think it's more like, for me, it's not historical or whatever. They're classics, like things we talk about. Like if we sat down with like a movie person, they're like, have you seen this? Have you seen this? And it's always like, no.
Yeah.
I don't know
Same.
where in how I grew up I missed the movie part and got straight to the TV, because I've seen almost everything on TV, but I just haven't seen most film.
Well, I think when it comes to bring it back to the whole Austin Powers thing, is like, this is also normally, I don't do comedies on the podcast, and I don't have anybody defend comedies, because comedy's so subjective to me, and working in comedy, it's so subjective that people can just go, well, I thought it was funny, and I go, all right, you won your argument. I can't do anything about it. And I've said that a million times. And also, I don't think, when I look at normal, run-of-the-mill formulaic comedies like Austin Powers, for me, can't be judged as art. They're not artistic to me. Like that's like Austin Powers is like literally a slapstick like dick joke, like we're just having a good time type of movie.
Yeah, it's very like pop.
Yeah,
pop art.
And that it being a film is just the mechanical way it's being shown to you. Like it could technically be a TV show.
Still like art of a type.
It's art, but not in the way that
kind of reaches the height of it. That form.
What the height
of what that is?
Of what that is.
It is the best of what it is, which is like a big studio comedy with, you know, a man at the center who you can sell merch and like Halloween costumes.
Yeah,
based off
great
of.
Taglines, memorable scenes. It was the first I ever heard of horny, and oh boy, did it make an impression.
That's the first time you heard the word horny?
Yes.
Really?
Oh yeah. My memory of this movie is like great. Very sexual. I know there was like the big bed.
She was
into
little.
him? Were you into it?
In a way.
Yeah, me
in
too.
a way, yeah.
You were into Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Sexually.
A little
Really?
bit, yeah, because he was like very
He was just
aggressive
showing us
and
sexuality and horniness, I guess.
And
at a safe distance.
Wow.
Like, and he loved sex so much, and I was just learning like what that even was, and I was like, yeah, I mean, now that I think about it, it probably made more of an impression than I realized.
I saw it as like, hey, this is a comedy. I'm going to see the movies with my friends. You saw it as like, I'm learning shit from this movie.
It blew my mind. It was, you know, we've talked about on the podcast before, I wasn't allowed to see a lot of stuff as a kid. So my dad took me, I think, to the third one. And it was just scandalous beyond belief. And I was learning a lot, and I loved it.
See, that's funny because I think I've mentioned on the podcast before there's certain things that do that. Like when I was like 15 going to see Pulp Fiction, and I remember reading, when you don't know what something is, I remember, like, you've seen Pulp Fiction, right? Mm-hmm. You've seen it too, haven't you? Oh, you watched it for the podcast, didn't you? Or you watched it one day randomly?
I think
I watched
saw
it like once.
It's so good. But on the way there, before we left, I read the newspaper and they mentioned the sodomy scene, and I didn't know it's with the gimp. I don't know if you remember the gimp. It's like that always stayed with me. Like I remember being 15 and being like, I don't really know what this is. I
15 for Pulp Fiction?
I think it was 15 for Pulp Fiction.
What's the sodomy scene?
Bruce Willis and Ving Rhames, they get captured. They're fighting each other, like they're at each other. It's a whole long story between them, but they're beating the crap out of each other, and they're walking in the street, fighting each other, and then they both end up in this pawn shop, and the guy from the pawn shop pulls a shotgun on him and calls his friend. His friend comes over, they tie him up, and these guys are like sadists. They're gonna like fuck him. It's like fucked up.
I thought it was John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson.
They're in it as well. There's like 4 stories that intertwine.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you should rewatch it. It's so great. Anyway, but in the paper, when I was growing up, before I left, I read like a little thing about it, and it mentioned the sodomy scene, because what happens is they rape Ving Rhames in the back of this shop, whatever it is, right?
I definitely didn't see this.
You didn't see it?
No.
Oh, it's so fucked up. And I remember not knowing what it was, but kind of realizing how it was like bad. And we're on the way there, and I remember getting like nervous to my stomach. Like my dad had no idea I read the article, so like he didn't know that scene was in there. So I'm like, I was uneasy if I wanted to see it or not, but I'm like, well, I already said I would go see it, and like I really wanted to see it. Like I was like, had all these mixed emotions. So I get why that's kind of what Austin Powers was for you.
It's such a funny,
Austin
specific experience of like being a kid or being any age and seeing stuff with your dad. Like even at this age, and I spent a lot of the summer hanging with my dad, I feel like I'm watching any innocent TV show. It could be something on PBS. All of a sudden they're fucking. Like, just because I'm sitting there with my dad. Like, it's just like nothing. It'll be some random commercial or game, and it's like, it just always turns
a lot of sex.
dark somehow.
A lot of sex and stuff.
It's weird. It's weird to like be in a see-sex with your parents in close proximity.
And it just seems to always pop up when we're hanging.
So when the first time you heard the word horny was Austin Powers.
Right,
going, you horny, baby?
No, he says, do I make you horny? And I was like, do I? Do I make you horny?
Right.
I was just like...
So the first time that you were like, Did you ever, like, when you used horny after that, were you like, did you say it in a British accent? Or were you just like...
Probably.
I did.
Yeah.
We did. We were
Yeah.
like, do I make you horny?
It
Yeah.
was
Always
big
did it.
amongst friends to like say the lines and this and that.
The first time I discovered the word horny, we were doing like sock puppets in first grade, and mine had horns, again, because I'm Jewish. And I was like, I called her, and I was like, I named her the puppet Horny, because it had horns.
Yeah.
And then my brother was like, you named it Horny? Do you know what that means? So I was like prepped for Austin Powers by the time it happened.
He knew what it meant? How old? your
Yeah,
brother-
he's 4 years older, so he was in 5th grade.
Elliot?
Oh, he knew
Yeah.
about horny.
Yeah.
He's 4 years older than you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, that's so funny. So he, like, already knew.
So yeah, so then I saw Austin Powers and I was like, horny means sexually aroused. Oh.
I don't know when I learned
my
what
friends.
horny was. I think it was one of those things where I just let people say it around me for the longest time without realizing what it was. Like, you ever do that where, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
people
all
say
the
a thing and
time.
you're like,
All
yeah,
the
totally.
time.
Yeah, I know what that means. And then you don't.
Oh, up until like 8th grade, I had told people I'd been to Disney World and Disneyland because that was very cool. But my mom absolutely refused to take us. I'd be like, oh, I love the Tower of Terror. This and that. I've never been on, knew nothing of it.
Like boner, I didn't know what that meant or was, or like what it, looked like, or how it
yeah.
functioned until it happened.
I knew a kid in school that he was a boy. He didn't know what the word boner meant. And so they called him Boner for like his entire.
Oh,
my
that's
God.
mean.
Well, that's nicknames. That's boys, you know. But yeah, this kid, the other kid I know, he was seen picking his nose once, and he was called Booger, like until he was in his 20s. Like
Damn.
people knew him as Booger. Did I talk about this already in the podcast? People knew him
No.
as Booger.
Damn.
Like
That's
people
tough.
knew him as Booger, like, and didn't know his real name. So people would be like, "You know so and so," and they'd say his real name. And go, "No." And they go, "Oh, it's Booger." You'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know Booger." And, like,
Damn.
it was like island wide.
Was Long Island for you guys, like, was it tough? Like, the streets of Long Island, or was it suburbia proper? Like, I had, like, glass bottles thrown at me from cars. Like, it was like,
What?
yeah.
In Long Beach?
It was
Island Park. Oh, Island Park.
Oceanside.
Oceanside's a little bit grittier.
I started in Long Beach, then we moved to Oceanside. Long Beach, though, can get there.
Well, any beach town can get kind of shady sometimes.
But there were a lot
Maybe.
of fights, and I mean, I guess that's any high school, but
Mine was like just like quintessential suburbs, I guess, and there was like levels to the town of wealth. There was I was just talking about this with somebody the other day. How there were like stickers on the car, like I lived in St. James. That was like the normal, like whatever.
St. James is like it's really nice. Right?
No, it's
was
like
it?
it's like quaint. It's like a quaint town. But
Yeah.
then there's
my buddy lived in Kings Park, which is like
Kings Park is nice.
Is it nice?
That
Yeah.
has more like McMansions, I think.
Oh, does it? Okay.
And like St. James had like head of the harbor was this other town that was like halfway to the beach, and then like the beachfront property that was like really rich.
Okay.
So there was like these like levels to the town, and
Long Island really spans
Oh, yeah.
class.
did you grow up with Jews?
Some, but not like a primarily Jewish town.
No, yeah, me neither. There were like very few Jews, mostly Irish.
If you went, you had to go
Italian
to like 5 towns in like North Shore.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
My
Nassau.
grandparents lived in
Lawrence.
Jericho.
people. Yeah.
Jericho's Jewish. Mm-hmm. I went to high school in Garden City. It was like 2 Jewish kids in my school.
Yeah. That's a really rich area, right?
Garden City is, yeah, but we live in Stewart Manor, which is basically the same thing, but like people are like, "Oh, Garden City." I'd be like, "No, you don't understand."
It's like the same area, but it's normal or whatever.
Like, yeah, it's like the more modest part of that. Like,
My friend teaches in Garden City, teaches like Italian to middle schoolers, and it's just like
Oh, really?
little rich kids. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty. They're like it's like the richest town, the farthest west richest town. It's like that, and like it spans. It's a big size. It's right in Roosevelt Field. People know the malls in Garden City, and there's like a whole area that's like the richer area, which is like they used to call it Snob Hill, which is like up on this hill, but there's way richer towns in Long Island, like Old Westbury and like
Yeah. Oh no, there's like
even
mad
like
rich towns.
Well, even by you, like
Roslyn.
isn't Cold Spring Harbor really rich? Cold Spring
Yeah,
Harbor.
and they all just
or-
have rich names. It's like hard to even tell.
Yeah, yeah.
Roslyn, Hewlett.
Those are both Jewish towns.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not that far from where I grew up. And people always think they're like, oh, yeah, you grew up on the beach because you grew up in Long Island. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the island.
How far from the beach?
20 minutes. Like 25 minutes. Like Jones Beach, I think, is the closest. Or Long Beach, maybe. And that's like 20 minutes from my mom's house.
Closer than most. No way.
I grew up
It's
5
not
minutes
20
from like
minutes.
Queens. Like where Queens and
Right.
Long Island meet. Like
Yeah.
I'm down the road, Tulip Avenue, down there. I don't know why I'm giving
And are
directions to my
all
house.
of your parents also New York people? Like I have a
My mom is New
Brooklyn
Jersey.
mom, Queens dad.
My dad was
like-
Brooklyn, my mom's New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad's Nassau. My mom's Queens.
Yep. My dad grew up. My dad went to high school with Barbara Streisand and Neil Diamond. At
Where they went?
They went to Erasmus.
Wow.
You went where
Oh,
they went.
excuse
No, he went where they went. No, he went. He was in.
Your dad
My
went
dad-
to high school with them.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I've been thinking
Wow.
lately about Long Island and New Jersey and the connection between people becoming like, I guess performers, but really just generally being involved in the entertainment industry. There's just something in
Well, it's like
you're close. Is it because
you're close, to the city. Yeah,
is
you're
that
close
what
to the
it
city.
is?
Long Island. It's like there's a lot of Jewish people in the entertainment industry, and there's a lot of Jewish people in Long Island. Like that's not a coincidence. That
Right.
happens. Like think about Baldwin's aren't, but they're but Seinfeld and any comic wise, and then. Yeah, you're close to New York City. You're super close to
So
New
you
York
think
City.
that gets into your head in terms of like, oh, I could do that?
I think what happens is when you're a kid, you go to, my dad, he was in Brooklyn. They used to go to like Rockefeller Center and, or like, I think Seinfeld, same thing. He used to go into this
Yes.
Manhattan at night when he was like a kid with his dad or whatever. They go to shows. And I think was like mystified by it. I think if you're in Iowa and you don't have the same experience,
Right.
you might not be as inclined to do that. But I think it's a good. I don't know. Long Island's great. No, Long Island's great. Like
Shout out
I already
to
want to get
Long
out of there,
Island.
but I'm like I'm there only till October 1st, and then I'm gone. But
Do you have an apartment set up?
yeah, just finalized it today, pretty much.
Cool. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll make things a tad easier.
Yeah.
Takes
Yeah.
the pressure off a little.
It does, and I don't feel weird about being there, and whatever it is.
Right.
I feel like I'm like I said like in the beginning of the podcast we said like I'm 15 again.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go see Austin Powers in the movie
Right,
theater.
right.
That's the other
See,
thing.
that
like-
would be fun.
Another
If
thing
I
with-
saw that it was playing, like that would be.
Well, that's the whole fun of movies, Farrah.
Get
You
a
go see in
little
the movie theater.
stoned, go see the.
That's another thing that happens now, and I guess that's the way that the movie business is now. Like the comedy makes it to like your comedy made it to the theaters.
Right.
No, what was it called?
Rough Night.
Rough Night. Okay, that means that's a big deal comedy. If it
Yeah.
makes it to the theaters now, it's a big deal comedy. Because think about how many comedies they're putting
Right.
out on iTunes and
Right.
Netflix, whatever it is. So like even look at Adam Sandler and Kevin James and all these guys are making movies just for Netflix now
Right.
because the only movies they're going to put in the theaters are like these big budget Marvel movies or I guess these big budget horror movies. So it's totally changed. It kind of
That's,
what
the
makes
thing.
it
Even
less
thinking
attractive.
of Austin Powers, it's like I'm nostalgic for that time. Like
Same here.
everybody was going to see that movie.
Yeah,
Right.
There
and
was,
then or you'd go to Blockbuster and try to get the tape of it at Blockbuster, and then it would always be out because it was a big deal. Like going to the movies was a bigger deal back in '97. I think the way that we are now, we're too trained. We're so on our phones. We're too trained to realize, oh shit, it was like a more of an event to go to these things.
That was what was so fun about Rough Night and Girls Trip, which were like whatever had a similar feel, but it was just like so fun to go to the movies and have like a big studio comedy aimed at you. And for me it's like I feel like I don't know, a lot of movies like I rewatched Wayne's World recently and it is so funny, but the women in it are so skinny. It just made me feel fat and ugly. You know what I mean?
Wait, even from it being back from the '90s and stuff, and not are they really super skinny?
They're
in the
so
movie?
insanely skinny.
Yeah.
And Rough Night and Girls Trip, it was just like fun to have like a big studio comedy
regular sized people.
aimed at me, and it like made me feel good too. Like I didn't have to like sacrifice feeling.
Well, that's what's happening. These movies are becoming more realistic. Like they're
Yes.
they're becoming more self-aware. Like the 21 Jump Street movies are hilarious, but like the sense of humor they have
Right.
are very different than an Austin Powers. Austin Powers is like this showy,
the 90s
campy
was
60s
the
thing.
time of the very thin woman, though.
And it was always just like
No
you're
ass.
like Elizabeth Hurley with him,
Right.
Like what? And he like always just makes such a joke of his sexuality, That was
Yeah, that was like that's what I'm saying. It was so over the top, like There's like I don't even think of the whole like, and also because I'm a guy, but I don't think of the skinny woman thing in comedies because I'm like it's so ridiculous already. Like Wayne's World is so ridiculous. I'm not thinking of it. It's like, oh my god, I don't think of it, but you guys
it was
do. Yeah,
such a bummer.
Yeah.
I was rewatching it for this like thing that me and Abby did like about Wayne's World, and I couldn't believe it. Like, you know, it was like I don't know. And I remember that too with actually Elizabeth Hurley being like, oh man, like I'll never look like that.
I remember that too with her, and I remember it sticking out to me as a kid. And there was never any shape to the bodies at all.
No.
And that was like, well, and that movie, I mean, I haven't seen it in a while, Austin Powers. There were a lot of references about bodies
Yeah,
and
she was
women and what's
so
hot.
She was so hot.
and
Yeah,
sexy.
I guess. Well, you know, though. But okay, I agree with you that they should have normal sized women in these movies, and they do now. Like you said, Rough Night had them. They have them in other comedies or other movies. But the whole movie was about sexuality. That's why he keeps mentioning sexuality.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's like about like standard sexuality.
Standard. And back when
It's so funny, though. What is it about this trope that has not even ended yet that is the, you know, fat, ugly guy with a really hot woman?
It's just like men controlling content. Most of it, you know?
I would say, yeah, if it's,
And like that's
if it's
so
the guys
funny
in
to
charge
them.
of-
They're like, you know what would be so funny?
It's funny, or it's like they're just trying to will it into existence.
I think it's
could.
also honestly it's what you're thinking, and it's funny because in those shows they make, maybe not in King of Queens, but there's other things that they make references to, like, yeah, what the hell are you? Me and Pat Stango, remember Pat Stango? Remember Pat? We wanted to write a show where it was me and the wife was really hot, and the whole joke was, what the fuck why is this
Yeah, that's
happening?
funny. Nobody
Yeah.
ever does that.
Nobody ever did it. Did they not do it? Maybe they didn't do it. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. The thing that
Nobody
we
does
wrote.
it. They nobody does it. They just like pretend it's normal.
They pretend it's
Right.
normal. You're right, and that's wrong. But I think
Oh, it's fine.
Well, it's not like
but
wrong,
also,
and I
like-
don't think
but the weird thing is
Alana
it's-
was saying like it shouldn't be.
And
it
I'm
just
not
like
like-
is what it is.
No, I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, but they shouldn't even do it now, even if it's just for the sake of like, hey, it's been called out too much. It's been called out like nobody's like falling for it anymore.
Really?
I'm saying they shouldn't.
I feel like I just haven't seen it called out very much. You know where I saw it called out?
Oh, I
is-
see people mention it all the time. Maybe it's comics or something.
Yeah. Right. I love Schumer's joke about it in some movie where Kevin James is with Eva Mendes or something, and it's like, what? You know, like that's, I feel like, still like kind of the current state.
All right, well, let's wrap it up here because I have to break out of here, and I think you have to leave as well, right? So, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks
Did
for
you have
having
fun?
me. Yeah,
I
thanks
hope
for having
I
me.
hope you're not things aren't weighing too much on your head.
No,
and
it made me feel
better a little bit.
Yeah, and it also made me feel like I should watch Austin Powers. It like feels good.
I want to watch it.
That
I do want to
nostalgia
watch
shit does
it.
kind of feel good sometimes.
Farrah's already seen it, so we're not going to say will Farrah watch it because she will watch it again.
I will watch it again,
will watch it
especially
again.
the first.
And we're not going to do. I think 3 reasons to watch it is to check out how skinny. I did not realize how skinny these women were.
All the women.
All the women in Austin Powers are skinny. Check that out.
Yeah, I think there's like a dance
And
sequence.
you don't
they're
think
like,
of that time period. It's dated. Like online, to give you a quick story. Online, I wrote as a joke about Back to the Future. You watch I watched it a million times. You ever seen it a lot? Mm-hmm. Do you remember the part where the cop stops Doc Brown and he's like, "You got a permit for all this equipment?"
Uh-huh.
I thought I was being funny, and online I was like, I think Doc Brown paid off that cop. That's how he got,
right,
because he didn't have a permit. And then somebody goes, "Yep, he did." And there's a scene where Doc Brown, he goes, "Yeah, 1 second." And he pulls out his wallet and he puts like $10, $20 over his license or whatever it is, right? But then there's an extra part of that scene where where he's talking to Marty, and he goes, Marty goes, "I don't know if I can handle like trying to hook up with my mom." And then Doc Brown is like, "Don't worry, just give it a shot." You know, it's like this crazy scene, and he goes, "Yeah, what if it messes me up? What if I go back and I'm like gay?" And it's like, what? Like it was just it's crazy. Then on top of that, there's what was the second part of
That's
that?
how it works.
What'd you say?
That's how it works.
Yeah, and then there was another part after that where what was it? Oh, there's another part. I can't even think of it. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill myself. Like I can't. There's another part that was like super dated as well, where it was like, no, you can't You can't say that. Like, nobody says that anymore. So
Right.
you don't realize, like, all this stuff becomes very dated very fast.
Oh my God, yeah.
The gay stuff, and then
Holy shit,
and then
that's
he
so
said something
old.
else in that extra scene that I'll remember.
The
and
other
I'll say in
thing I
the
want
next
to say,
episode,
if you're
but-
going to rewatch Austin Powers, also notice Robert Wagner. He legit he killed somebody. He killed Natalie
He
Wood.
did. He killed Natalie
And if
Wood.
you watch it, like, thinking that he's a murderer, it really, like, raises the stakes of
Wow.
the movie.
He was never
Convicted or
convicted
whatever.
of it, but
Jesus.
and there's a ton of
He and who else? Who's the other guy?
Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was him and Christopher Walken.
They killed Natalie Wood. For Christopher Walken, I don't blame for some reason. But,
An alien.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having me.
much for doing this. What would you like to plug besides the obvious? You have a new
just
season.
Broad City, Wednesdays at 10:30 after South Park.
Wednesday at 10:30, and also check out the tour. The tour is happening in November.
Yes, and the YQY Yas Queen Yas tour with me and Phoebe Robinson.
Awesome, Farrah. Nothing.
No.
Okay, start nothing every week. I would like to say, check out our Twitter. It's twitter.com @defendyourmovie or @defendyourmovie on Twitter. Facebook.com/defendyourmovie. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/defendyourmovie. And also
Tweet at me at Farrah Brooke, movies you think I should see.
Yeah, tweet at Farrah movies you think she should see. Also, Showbiz Studios, check out their iTunes page and their YouTube page. We're going to start doing videos at some point. We're just trying to figure out the whole video situation. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Thank you again, Ilana. It's so good to see you.
Bye, my defenders.
Bye, Defenders. All right, bye.
My friend, there's a time